Good evening, everybody. I just want to talk a little bit about this hurricane that's coming after perhaps Florida, maybe the Keys. Right now it's in, I think, the Virgin Islands. But I want to talk a little bit about this storm because you see this big monster storm. It's coming down. You don't know if it's going to hit, where it's going to hit, and who's going to get hurt. But you know somebody's going to get hurt. And something bad's going to happen. And if you're not in that area and you don't know anybody in that area, you have no financial interest in that area, you can kind of watch it from afar, kind of like, it draws you in. It's like you watch this thing get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're kind of like, wow, I wonder how big this is going to get. This is kind of cool. Maybe it'll get bigger. As a friend of mine once said, I don't care. I'm not there, so who cares about those people there? I'd like to see more action, more drama, a bigger storm, more destruction. So you kind of get tied up with this whole thing, even though it's bad to think that way because it could happen to you. And you could be the one in the path of the storm next time. So this mentality of kind of like watching from a distance and kind of being fascinated with it, something that kind of draws everybody in. And, it's kind of a weird thing, weird human nature for people to watch this and kind of get drawn into it. So I would like to make that parallel. I'd like to segue into the dreamers, the people that were born in this country. Born outside of this country, but were brought in this country as young kids, maybe not even old enough to even know that they were brought in. They grew up in this country. They've been in this country ever since. This is their country. They speak the language. They don't even know living anyplace else, and they don't know any different. They live here. They work here. This has been their life. And then you got this big, massive storm out there. This order that Trump has signed about getting rid of these people, sending them back to the country they don't even know, that they didn't grow up in. And it's like the hurricane bearing down on them, except now it's not a hurricane. It's actually some law, something. And we're all watching from afar. I was born in this country. Probably most of the people that watch my video are born in this country. So we're kind of like watching it from afar and disinterested because it's not us and it doesn't affect us. We don't know anybody that's a dreamer, or we're not financially, hurt by these people or whatever. But you know what? We're still watching from afar. And we're kind of like disinterested, but then again, we want to see how bad it gets. We want to see if Trump will actually follow through with this, if he'll actually deport these people and everything. This is just like this storm. The human nature of people watching somebody else's misery and suffering and kind of getting off on it. And this is really disturbing that people are allowing this order of Trump to go ahead and reverse what Obama said about people being able to stay and now sending them back. This is really disturbing because people should have more empathy for somebody else. Like if somebody gets hurt in that storm, it affects all of us. If there's damage to the economy, it affects all of us. All of us are going to be just like in Texas. When that thing hit Texas, you know what? Everybody got hurt because energy prices went up, because that part of the country, wasn't creating any kind of it wasn't happening. It wasn't doing, things weren't going, the things that we depend on that come from that part of the country didn't happen. Well, that's the same thing that's going on now. People get hurt in Florida, we all get hurt. People get hurt in the Key West, we all get hurt. The same thing with the dreamers. We can't sit here being disinterested and allowing somebody like Trump to carry on this crazy policy that because you've been here all your life and you don't know anything else, and we've allowed you to be here for all your life, now all of a sudden you're going to have to get the fuck out of here, like some arrogant dictator. And don't use the argument that Trump is just following the rule of law and that he's such a rule of law president and he's such a guy that follows the Constitution, as Sean Hannity would say. Mr. President is just fulfilling the law. He's just doing what the law says to do. You know what? He didn't fucking do what the law said to do when he fucking pardoned Oparo. He went against a federal criminal indictment, against this man. All he had to do is be sentenced, and Trump completely reversed that. So don't tell us about the rule of law when it comes to Donald Trump. Don't tell us about what a law and order kind of guy this guy is. Because when Oparo goes through the whole process and gets convicted, and not only gets convicted, gets ready to be sentenced, and he steps in and pardons him, you know, like the dictator that he is. You know, don't tell me that Donald Trump cares about the rule of law. So maybe when we see the storm bearing down on Florida, we should feel the same feelings for the people that are possibly being deported, and how this could change their lives, how it affects everything about them. They may be separated from family and friends and work and all the investment of their whole lives that they have put into this country. And now it's just all jerked out from underneath them because we've got a president who doesn't care about the rule of law and doesn't care about human suffering and doesn't care about individuals' pain and hurt. Just like somebody that doesn't care about somebody that's about ready to get hit by a storm. This is what we have for our president, and this is what kind of person we have leading our country. So I just want you to think about that, and I want you to think about the two parallels and how they're similar. So anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it very much.